Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Couple things to know as you head out the door. Another very calm, cool start to the day. But summer is right around the corner again. I'll show you when we heat up.
Bit of a rocky start for Bill. UNC is looking to bounce back after a season-opening loss to TCU. Why fans say this is not tampering their excitement at all.
And first day for St. Augustine's. The fall semester gets started today after a shakeup in leadership. The new challenges the university is facing as it tries to move forward. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 6 o'clock as we move forward on this new work week for a lot of you, given that's after the Labor Day holiday. Hope you enjoyed it, and we're glad you're with us. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Lovingood. I wager you're probably waking up with that morning brew. It's nice and cool outside, feeling like fall, but Elizabeth, we know things are going to warm up for us.
Yes, today is going to feel fantastic, but we do have some hot air that's going to arrive as we get closer to the weekend. Pretty start here in Goldsboro. This is one of the cameras that starts to pick up that daylight early, and it looks so pretty out there. It feels great, too. In the Triangle, our temperatures are in the mid-50s, and the dew point, same. That just makes it feel crisp and cool as you head out the door. Our coolest spot is 50 in Roxborough, and our warm spot is 62 in Clinton. Around the Triangle, mostly in the mid to upper 50s. Temperatures are pretty close to where they were yesterday. In a few places, 2 to 3 degrees warmer. Should be fabulous at lunchtime with mid-70s, and we'll climb into the upper 70s this afternoon. I'll show you when we could see another day with highs in the 90s. Coming up, Chris.
A lunch break outside sounds like a great idea today. And meanwhile, we got to get to work first, right? I-40 at Rock Quarry Road is flowing smoothly in both directions. Not noticing any major delays as we look around the Triangle. If you're heading into Raleigh, the two spots that we typically watch within the next hour are Capitol Boulevard and I-87. That's where you just normally see that congestion. So we'll keep you updated on those delay times while you're on the go. 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle.
Thanks, Chris. A couple of early morning crashes to tell you about. We're trying to learn more after a car crashed into a home in Raleigh. This happened on Haverty Drive off Rock Quarry Road. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker around 4:30 this morning. We've reached out to Raleigh police to get more information about what happened.
Also this morning, a car crashed and flipped just inches away from train tracks in Cary. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker captured this scene at Trinity Road and East Chatham Street around 2 a.m. Officers blocked that area while they inspected the damaged car and the tracks there. And so we've reached out to Cary police to find out what caused the crash and whether anyone was injured.
This morning, UNC football fans have a lot of questions about Coach Bill Belichick's debut. TCU crushed the Tar Heels in last night's season opener, 48-14. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is live in Chapel Hill this morning. And Ali, fans say they are disappointed, but they still have hope.
Yes, and fans came down here to Franklin Street to cope with that loss. It wasn't the outcome that they hoped for with the Belichick era at UNC. UNC did start out strong, though. They led 7-0 in the first quarter. It was downhill from there. TCU scored 41 points before UNC scored a final touchdown in the third quarter. TCU took home the win, 48-14. We heard from Bill Belichick after the game. He says they need to work harder. They need to work together. Fans are hopeful the season will get better.
You just have to perform better as a unit, coach better, play better, work better on our fundamentals. There's no shortcut to it. We just got to work harder and do a better job.
We're optimistic. It's tough, but we're optimistic. So it's just the first game, Belichick needs some time to be here.
UNC will play UNC Charlotte on Saturday. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to hear from the WRAL sports team, Pat Welter and Chris Lee. They're going to give a breakdown of the game and what's expected for next with the Tar Heels. Reporting live in Chapel Hill, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Students at St. Augustine's University are starting a new semester today. And just the other day, we confirmed the school's interim president resigned. Let's bring in Flynn Snyder. He's live at St. Augustine's this morning. Flynn, we have tried asking the HBCU about how many students are enrolled, but they have not responded to our question about that.
And
And Chris, the latest data we have from the previous academic year shows enrollment here has dipped to as low as 200 students. Of course, this all comes after the university announced that interim president Dr. Marcus Burgess has resigned and stepped down. He submitted his resignation letter in July, with the move not being made public until Sunday. A member of a group working to save St. Augustine's worries the resignation could jeopardize the school's accreditation.
In order to continue to have accreditation, you do have to have an interim, an acting president. And right now, with his resigning, we don't have an interim president.
The university's interim provost and vice president of academic affairs, Dr. Virginis Peoples, will take over the president's administrative responsibilities. It's the latest issue facing the troubled university, while also dealing with millions of dollars in debt and numerous lawsuits. According to the university, Dr. Burgess cited personal reasons for stepping down. Flint Sider, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
An apartment fire in Wayne County that forced 50 people out of their homes has been ruled accidental. Residents of the Rosewood community on Kellerway Drive were back yesterday to see what was left of their homes. The fire broke out at an affordable rental community Sunday afternoon. People who lost their homes worry that finding a place to live at a similar price could be a long and challenging process.
Places like this that are affordable for some people, once you get in them, you try to be here as long as possible. Once they fill up, that's it. You're on a wait list for a while.
Firefighters say several people were rescued from upper floors. We know 4 people went to the hospital. The Red Cross is helping the people who are now out of their homes.
Today, Governor Josh Stein is expected to give an update on the progress being made in recovery efforts in Western North Carolina. And this is part of the governor's NC Strong update. Last week, you may recall, the statewide housing program, Renew NC, announced the completion of its first home in Western NC. Nearly 2,000 people have applied to be a part of that program. The governor's office says 2 other housing programs will launch this year.
It's back to work today for most of us after the Labor Day holiday. Yesterday was when a national workers' rights movement played out in parts of the Triangle. It is called Workers Over Billionaires. This demonstration gathered near the state capitol Monday afternoon. It's one of more than 1,000 events that took place across the country, led by the nation's largest labor union, the AFL-CIO.
And protests were underway in Chicago as the city braces for President Donald Trump to deploy the National Guard there. The president has floated the idea of sending troops to Chicago to crack down on crime, and the decision to do so could happen as early as this week. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed that plans are in place to expand ICE operations in Chicago and other major U.S. cities. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has already told local police to not cooperate with federal authorities.
No federal troops in the city of Chicago. No militarized force in the city of Chicago. We're going to defend our democracy in the city of Chicago.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has also slammed the potential move. He says crime is down 32% over the last year. And just this past weekend, at least 52 people were shot and 7 were killed.
Labor Day may be over, but law enforcement will still be out patrolling roads across the state today and throughout the week. The goal is to minimize the number of impaired drivers on the road. The Booze It and Lose It campaign is also to inform drivers about the risks of driving while under the influence. The increased patrols will run through Sunday.
Wake County is hosting one of its last back-to-school vaccine clinics today. The health department is hosting a clinic from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Zebulon Community Library. That clinic is for students in kindergarten, 7th, and 12th grades. The state requires all public school students to get certain vaccines, such as measles, unless they have an exemption.
Research Triangle Park will look a little more colorful today. RTP is expected to unveil several large murals as part of World Art Drop Day. 6 murals are expected to be part of this project. 5 are already complete.
Johnson County leaders are giving people the chance to learn more about its new transportation plan. Tonight's public hearing will go over plans to improve roads for drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians. The Board of Commissioners says this plan maps out projects and investments over the next 25 to 30 years. The meeting will be held at Johnson County's courthouse in Smithfield, and that'll start at 6 p.m.
Raleigh police will give an update today on its summer action plan as it wraps up. The initiative ran from June 1st through August 31st and focused on strategic enforcement throughout the city. Today's update is expected to outline numbers collected by the department from the program. It is 6:09 on your Tuesday. Bacteria at the beach. Areas along our coast facing an increase in potentially dangerous contamination. What researchers are pointing to as possible causes.
And as the kids head out to the bus stop this morning, they might need a long sleeve shirt. Temperatures are cool in the 50s. Coming home, though, 78 degrees, so it'll feel great. We do have some hotter weather in our forecast, though. I'll show you when to expect it coming up.
And here are your winning Powerball numbers: 8, 23, 25, 40, 53. The Powerball is 5. The multiplier is 3. There was no jackpot winner last night, but one ticket in North Carolina matched all 5 white balls for a $2 million prize. Tomorrow's jackpot is $1.3 billion.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:12. It's a pretty morning out there. Take a look at this. Looking gorgeous in Durham. That sun just beginning to light up the sky a little bit. 56 degrees in Durham and in Wilson. So it's a pleasantly cool start this morning. It's 61 degrees in Fayetteville. We're clear everywhere. You know, with temperatures like that, the kids at the bus stop, if they're going to be out there for a little while and they're in their shorts and T-shirts, they may want a long sleeve shirt just for a little bit. Again, 50s to low 60s, feeling great, clear and comfortable, low humidity. Running weather, phenomenal. Doesn't really get much better than this. Even at lunchtime, it's not bad at 74. And with low humidity and upper 70s this afternoon, it'll be great for getting out to exercise. We do have summer heat in our forecast, though, a little later in the week. I'll show you when it rolls back in. Coming up, Chris.
And Elizabeth, I'm in for Ken Smith this morning, keeping an eye on the roads and the airways as well. Looking at I-40, I-540, Aviation Parkway, Glenwood Avenue, heading toward RDU. Everything looks to be pretty smooth on the road. And in terms of any kind of delays across the country, thankfully, we're not noticing anything significant. Yesterday, there were some significant delays in Texas because of the severe weather that they saw over the weekend. But thankfully, everything looks good to go for the time being. I'll let you know if there's any delayed times on the roads as we get closer to the peak morning commute hours. You can listen to us at 101.5 HD3.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, an update on the attempted assassination case of President Donald Trump. Right now, we know there's a North Carolina man here, Ryan Roth. He is accused of attempting to assassinate the president in South Florida last year, and he's now preparing to represent himself in a pretrial conference scheduled for today as this case gears up for the trial. Jury selection is expected to begin next week at the federal court in Fort Pierce, barring any delays. But the trial is set nearly a year after prosecutors claim that this U.S. Secret Service agent who stopped his plans of attempting to shoot Trump at a golf course in Florida. Of course, this is something that we will continue to follow as the day progresses when he has that scheduled meeting for the trial.
We certainly will be following that. Thank you, Laura. People in Minnesota spent Labor Day protesting gun violence after that mass shooting at a Catholic school. A march in Minneapolis ended at Annunciation Church, and that's where 2 children were killed and more than a dozen were hurt in a shooting last week. In St. Paul, a rally was held at the state capitol in support of an assault weapons ban, and people there also said they want a statewide office of violence intervention.
President Donald Trump plans to award Rudy Giuliani the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He says Giuliani is the greatest mayor in New York's history. Giuliani was praised for leading New York after the September 11th terrorist attacks. In recent years, he's been sanctioned by courts over false claims about the 2020 election. The award comes a few days after he was seriously injured in a car crash. The Medal of Freedom is the nation's highest civilian honor.
2 bodies were found in Texas after heavy weekend storms, and police say one body was found near a creek in what appears to be a drowning. A second body was found nearby, but both people did not have homes. Police were searching the San Antonio area for these people after they were reported missing, and a third person was reported missing, but they were found safe. Meanwhile, police in Pennsylvania are questioning the driver of a minivan that drove into a crowd of people. This happened during a festival in Harrisburg. Police say 3 people, including a child, were hurt because that van crashed through a barricade. Officials have not yet released the names of anyone involved. And today, the future of Zebulon's 5-county stadium will be up for discussion. The town's Board of Commissioners will gather for a special meeting to talk about this. The Carolina Mudcats played their final home games at the stadium this past weekend. They had called the stadium home since 1991, and they're moving to Wilson for next season, leaving the future of the stadium in question. Today's special meeting is set for 5 p.m.
Your family's last beach trip may have been riskier than you realized. New data shows more bacteria is washing onto North Carolina beaches. Scientists say the problem is likely to get worse. 5 North Carolina beaches were under advisories heading into Labor Day weekend because of elevated levels of fecal bacteria. Warmer water speeds up bacterial growth. Rising seas are flooding septic systems and sewer lines, even on sunny days.
They built infrastructure like roads and houses and buildings for sea levels that were a lot lower than they are today. So what's happening today is that normal high tides, that monthly high tide that happens because of the way the moon and the sun are moving in space, is causing flooding on roads, and that didn't used to happen.
Heavy rain and hurricanes intensified by climate change are also washing contaminants into coastal waters. According to Environment America, more than half of North Carolina's beaches had potentially unsafe bacteria levels last year.
Weather-wise, as you're waking up this morning, I mean, if you liked yesterday's temperatures waking up, you're going to love today. Still got that fall feel, Elizabeth.
It does. It's so pretty out there right now. We take a live look at Fayetteville and Raleigh, Apex and Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill is courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. Skies are clear. Temperatures feel fantastic. We have a flow coming out of the northeast right now thanks to this high-pressure system. High-pressure systems rotate clockwise, and so they have a big impact on where our wind comes from. If it's coming out of the southwest, it feels hot and humid, and we're going to get back into that a little later in the week. But right now, we're feeling very comfortable under this high pressure system, and it's also helping to keep us dry. That begins to change later in the week. We're going to see a cold front approaching on Thursday. It'll bring us a chance of some showers and thunderstorms, mainly late afternoon and evening. It doesn't really deliver any cooler air. We just don't get a strong push behind this. We will end up seeing it coming through again late on Thursday. We'll pause it right there at 8 o'clock, and you can see those showers and thunderstorms moving through. It's not going to be an all-day washout Thursday, but that's going to be our next best chance of rain. We finally get another front that comes through. That one is going to give us a bigger push of cool air behind it. And so we'll notice a big drop in terms of our temperature by Sunday. But in the meantime, Thursday looks like our best chance for rain, especially late in the day and Thursday night. We'll have a small chance again Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday with that next front coming through. Taking a look at the tropics, it is still, of course, the peak of the hurricane season, and it's been pretty quiet over the last week or so. But another wave coming off the coast of Africa has a 60% chance of developing in the next 7 days. So that's the one we're watching for now. Look at this. 88 Friday, 90 on Saturday. As comfortable as it was in August, it's kind of hard to go back to that. But coming up, we'll talk more about when we typically see our last 90-degree day of the year. Chris?
And Elizabeth, starting out pretty calmly this morning on the road, similar to how the weather is starting out nice and calm. This is I-87 at Lizard Lick Road, and starting to see the congestion, especially as we go southbound on I-87 and head a little bit closer to Raleigh. In terms of any kind of delay times, though, those are pretty few and far between. On I-87, if you're connecting to the Beltline, right now there's absolutely no delay at all. And really heading into Raleigh or into Durham at this point in the morning, we're not noticing any major issues. Don't want to jinx that, of course, as we get closer to 7 and 8 o'clock, these delay times start to creep up. So we'll let you know if that happens as you're on the go, getting back into the swing of things. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
Thanks, Chris. A gift for a veteran. How volunteers are stepping up big to help a man in Western North Carolina for years to come.
Plus, buy now, pay later. The shopping trend has been growing rapidly over the years, which is why 5 on Your Side will explain how credit bureaus are collecting data on the people who use it.
If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com, report it, to send your video, pictures, or tip to the news team.
Nearly a year after Helene, a Vietnam veteran in Western North Carolina, is one step closer to returning home. David Hostetter served 3 tours in Vietnam, and the floodwaters from Hurricane Helene ruined his home and washed away his driveway. He's been living in a temporary cabin ever since. But now, volunteers from several other groups are stepping in to help rebuild the road to his house, a process that has involved several steps.
And we got to bench back up and bring fill dirt and gravel and rock back in to build that whole side of the mountain back.
I can't explain how grateful I am. I just don't have words for it. But I am. I'm grateful.
Now that he has access to his property again, Hostetter says he plans to demolish his home and then eventually rebuild it.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
A star-studded start to the UNC football season, plus another record shattered for Taylor Swift.
Let's take a look now at what's trending. First, stars from across the sporting world showed up in Chapel Hill for Bill Belichick's debut. UNC legends like Michael Jordan and Roy Williams there. Hall of Famer Randy Moss, soccer legend Mia Hamm, and Yankees manager Aaron Boone. Just a few showing up as part of the Tar Heel faithful to support Bill Belichick.
Yeah, you could hear the crowd kind of going wild there when they put up Michael Jordan. No surprises there, though. Big legend. Big legend.
GOAT.
All right, so Taylor Swift is breaking records again, this time one of her own. Swift's upcoming album, Life of a Showgirl, has the most pre-saved album Spotify pages of all time, less than 3 weeks after she announced the album. The old record was held by her 2024 album, The Tortured Poets Department. Life of a Showgirl releases on October 3rd, and I know a lot of people are waiting for that one to drop.
Yeah, I was thinking, how was she going to top last year with her Eras tour and that new album? Well, she has another new album, and she's engaged this year.
Very smart with marketing.
Yes, quite the banner year. The Belichick era is launching a new tradition on campus. The Chapel Thrill concert series kicked off last night. This is the first of the season. The concerts will be held at all home games this fall. Country singer and former UNC linebacker Chase Rice performed last night. The next Chapel Thrill experience will be for Saturday.
The College Game Day crew made it to Chapel Hill for the game last night, and one member is making a bit of a splash. Kirk Herbstreit's dog, Pete, took a dip in Fordham Fountain outside of Bynum Hall. Herbstreit said that they made it to campus yesterday and met with Coach Belichick. Fortunately for Pete, there wasn't too much heat to beat, though, but it is always nice to relax in the water.
6:26, next game up. The UNC football team setting its sights on Charlotte after last night's loss. Reaction from Bill Belichick after his debut with the Tar Heels.
Plus, new semester, new questions. Classes start today at St. Augustine's University, just days after the interim president resigned. The direction the school is headed this fall.
And students may need just a light jacket this morning. Temperatures are in the mid-50s to low 60s heading out, but then when they come home, it's going to feel fantastic. Temperatures near 80 with nice low humidity. We have some summer-like heat in our forecast. I'll show you when it returns coming up.
And here's a look at your winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers.